Thank you all. Good afternoon. Just to give you a perspective of who we are, what we do, I just want to let you know as to what Equifax does in India and what Equifax does globally, and then put that in perspective in terms of how are we enabling the entire digital journey in the country as we speak. Just to give you a perspective, Equifax globally, we are a 100 plus year old company. Started as a credit bureau in North America, present in about 24 countries around the world at this point in time. We run three bureaus in some sense globally. One is the retail, another one is the commercial, and we also run the largest employment bureau in North America. Present in 24 countries. In Asia, we're present in India, Russia, and Australia, New Zealand. These are the three hubs for Asia. But we have a lot of joint venture companies who are operating the bureaus across the region in Southeast Asia and as well as in the Middle East. Just coming to India, I think a bit more in detail. We have 4 bureaus within the bureau in India. We run the microfinance bureau, as all of you are familiar with microfinance, which truly addresses the need for credit for those who cannot reach out to credit in the country. So we are the largest service provider of the bureau services for the microfinance industry in the country. Over 100 plus of the microfinance institutions use our services on a regular basis. We have a very matured retail bureau that we run in the country. Some of the largest lenders ping the bureau before they make any lending decisions on retail. We're also building a commercial bureau where all the commercial borrowing details will be stored, so that's also on the home run, should be available for services starting October. We are also building an employment exchange bureau. We are not building, we are already built it. We have about 100 companies who are contributing the employee information to this bureau. About 300,000 employee information is in this bureau. Largely, again, started off with the banking side of the business who are contributing the employee information. We are currently moving into insurance segment, and then we will move into retail. Potentially at some point in time will be the largest employment database that we would have built in the country. So it's a 4 bureau within a bureau. I think very, very powerful as to how we can leverage the data sets across these four bureaus to help lenders make very, very informed decisions in the country. As we speak, the database that we have largely on the retail and the microfinance is about plus 1.3 billion now. The 1.3 billion trade line information is what we have in our bureau. About 700 million is about on the retail. Another 350 plus is on microfinance. So that's the size of database that we run. We process about 25 million inquiries every month. So we use technology very, very effectively to be able to deliver these levels of services. The 25 million inquiries are processed, each inquiry is processed sub-second. Our response time is technically about 800 milliseconds to any inquiry that comes from a bank or a lending institution seeking a credit information report of an individual. We respond sub-second. So we leverage technology extremely well to be able to look at the database, collate a credit information report, present it back to the lender under sub-second. And credit information report is a complete history of the individual's either borrowing or the usage of credit card and the repayment history. We present that effectively well in sub-second. So technology is a key player in what we do. Cassandra, Elasticsearch, all these technologies are used in the data lake that we operate to be able to respond to the industry requirement. So that's broadly where we are. We also use, in addition to the bureau data, we also consume alternate data to enhance the outlook that we want to provide to the lenders in the country. The reason why the data and the analytics becomes extremely important because the unsecured lending in the country is becoming a larger part of the lending as compared to secured. Rewind 4-5 years back, secured was about 56-57% of the total lending, and the remaining was unsecured. Come now, unsecured is 53-54% of the lending space, and secured is lower. So as an as the unsecured space grows, the need for data, need for analytics becomes extremely important, right? Technology without data and analytics is, it's a car without fuel, right? So it's of no use. So you got to have data, you got to have analytics to power the technology to be able to deliver the services. So we not only use the bureau data, we also use alternate data to be able to do verifications for our customers. So that's the way we operate in terms of how we enhance our ability to help customers make quicker and faster decisions. So I just wanted to pick some data points from the recent report that we saw on how the digital lending taking shape in the country. If you look at this is the FIPBA report. I think IBA published this report about 2 to 3 weeks back. The digital channel contributes about 2/3 of the Indian banking financial transaction at this point in time. You can see the shift that is happening on the digital significantly over a period in time is enormous. I think India has leapfrogged on this space in the last 2 to 3 years. I think all of in this room and everybody has a key role to play in this journey, and technology and data and analytics has played a significant role. All that the banks have to manage is risk, right? How do you help banks manage risk is extremely important as we travel the digital journey, because the loans are getting approved in 2 to 3 minutes. 2 to 3 minutes, you got to make a decision to accept the application, decision to lend money, and control your risk. So it is extremely important to make super informed decisions about lending in 3 minutes. So this is the shift that is happening onto the digital transactions. Specifically, if you look at, I talked about unsecured. If you look at unsecured in the country, which is growing fast, in the unsecured category, the PLs, the personal loans, are the fastest growing segment in the last couple of quarters. And I think the PL growth in terms of volumes possibly are growing upwards of 50% plus. Maybe in the values is about 33%. That's the growth rate on the PL. And the large portion of the PL growth is actually coming in from the fintechs and NBFCs in the country. So which is technically driven by fintechs, who are processing loans in a couple of minutes. So that's the growth of PL. And if you look at the PL contribution from the digital side of it, 45, 38, 37% of the sourcing is happening through digital channels. See how the entire, the experience or the way the customers interact in the country with the banks and financial institutions is completely changing. Nobody is visiting a bank to, apply for a loan. Nobody is even visiting a bank to open up a bank account. It's completely digital at this point in time. So I think there is a significant shift that is happening in the marketplace. I think companies like us, I think we play a key enabling role in the entire digital journey. While Equifax is significantly a data and analytics company, we are also a technology player, but very closely tied to the lending space, the asset side of the business of all the banks and the lending institutions across in the country and in most part of the world. We play that role. So I just have a slide on the digital lending journey as to what role do we play. I'll just give you 3 examples of the role that we play in the entire digital journey. In addition to the traditional credit information report that we provide as a bureau, that's something that we do on a regular basis. But there is a value adds that we bring to table for lending institutions to make quicker and faster decisions. We enable lenders make online estimation of income. This online estimation of income is not based on actual income declared in the bureau or in any public medium. Online estimation of income is a model that we have built from an analytical tools to be able to predict income so that the lender does not have to ask income information online before he even makes an in-principle approval. So, we quicken the process of, understanding the client much, much faster. Again, this online estimation of income is an API-enabled tool, can be easily integrated into any digital journey that any fintech or a bank is building across in the country. The second examples I would like to give you is, we're building a fraud risk score which is based on the bureau header data, right? And it's built on a machine learning model. It's just about starting. Hopefully, over a period in time, as the model runs more, Possibly it will get a lot more accurate in being able to help, control fraud risk. Again, becomes extremely important. The consumer interaction is digital, short duration time for you to approve. You got to, filter if there are any risks very, very quickly. So we're building models which again will respond back, a couple of seconds. Moment you ping the bureau, or the fraud risk score is pushed back in a couple of seconds. Is something that is an example of how you could check, I talked about income. You want to check fraud risk score, you could do that. I think all the verification services, I think pretty much in use at this point in time. Online verification, if you want to verify PAN, verify voter ID, all those verification services are available, and we do provide that for many organizations across in the country from a verification standpoint. And everything that I'm talking about is, all are API-enabled tools. So you plug in, that leg of the journey is complete, you move on to the next leg of the journey. So if you look at the entire journey, we're starting from the customer coming on board, filling up his name, phone number, how do you pre-fill the entire application, go on to verification, get to know the customer a little bit more before you make a decision to either even give out a loan and then, take a next step to underwrite and then do the disbursement. So we do this extremely efficiently well with many organizations, and we're continuing to innovate to see as to how can we add more value to all the lenders in the country to make decisions online on a digital straight-through process. Data and analytics plays an extremely important role. We have plenty of services. I think, the 15 minutes that is given to us is not possibly good enough. We need to speak for a couple of hours in terms of services that we have, which touches every point of the journey from an application till the money is dispersed, as to how do we keep adding value to the decision process through pure data and analytics that we have is the journey that we play. What we've done also in India is to build a platform that, fintechs or anybody who wants to go on digital from a lending perspective, if you want to bring your idea to life quicker, we have built a platform which is a cloud-hosted platform called Interconnect. So we'll take a minute on Interconnect. So this is a platform that we have launched in India, which is a multi-tenant cloud-hosted environment wherein, it comes with the preset connectors for all the data and the bureau. It can connect to all the 4 bureaus in the country, connect to alternate data services in the country. And so all the data access is available on this platform. It can also host models for, making judgments in terms of application scorecard or fraud risk scorecard. The models can be hosted there. The your specific models, our models, all can go onto this cloud. Then it can also have a set of rules that are set saying that somebody with this application, with this score, with this credentials, a approval of 50,000 rupees loan can be given straight to process. So you could also have the rules set in this platform, very easily, onboardable platform. If somebody has an idea to go live, obviously subject to approval from central bank in terms of lending, this platform can help people go live, could be anywhere between, day to 2 to 3 days. So one could actually bring idea to life, So that's how quick the platform can get fintechs, going. Or if somebody wants to test an idea before they make larger investments, they could use this platform to test an idea in terms of how a whole process of lending works and how can we build a straight-through process. So that's something that we've launched in India about 3 or 4 quarters away, and I'm very delighted that acceptance to the solution has been extremely good. Not only on the fintech side of it, even the traditional lenders are embracing such as technologies to enable straight through approval process. So that's briefly in terms of what Equifax does, what we do. But as I said, the amount of data that we operate on, amount of analytics that we run, amount of tools that we build for everybody to bring in straight through processes and digital approvals is significant. We continue to innovate. The way we innovate is we work with the lending institution to solve their problems, not sit in their offices and innovate. So we follow a practice of co-innovation. So we work with many lenders in the country to solve real problems in the marketplace and solve customer experiences. I think that's exactly what we do as a company. And I'm very delighted to be here, and thank you all for giving us an opportunity, and thank you all for inviting us, and Thank you all for listening to me and wish you all the very best. Thank you.